Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Tuesday night patron-only stream here on YouTube. How is everyone doing here this Tuesday night? I'm still kind of getting through the weekend. It's been a long week. Lots of things happening on the Paizo front that has, frankly, kind of eaten up all of my time. So, what's happened between last week and this week? Not much. Paizocon is what happened, and that requires a whole bunch of work from us, getting things ready, coordinating our announcements, making sure all of our ducks are in a row. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Frankly, I think it is worth kind of chatting at least a little bit about some of that news, because some of it does affect me, or has affected me in the recent past. Other than that, today, I think today is kind of just a general work day. That's probably all I got in me, is digging around in some files and keeping some things moving, keeping some balls in the air, as it were. That's about what I got the brain juice for. Memorial Day is one of those, whenever you have a convention weekend, it's like, hey, you had a weekend, kind of. And, the Paizocon is all online, which certainly takes a lot of the work out of it, right? I don't have to travel to a hotel. I don't have to, do all that rigmarole and take care of all those things. But it is still a thing I have to pay attention to. It eats up a whole bunch of my time, which then puts pressure on all the other things I want to do. And, I for those of you following in my various social media platforms and on Discord, I also decided to learn how to start smoking meats this weekend. So that ate up like an entire day. So it's been busy, is what I'm saying. So Paizocon just occurred. There were a number of pretty critical announcements. A couple that directly involved me that are worth kind of chatting about here briefly. I'm not going to really kind of go into deep details. This isn't a place where you're going to hear any spoilers or new news. This is my... you are all here for the Patreon stream, and this is not the place to reveal Paizo business. But there were some things that were announced that we can talk about because they were announced. Obviously, the big thing for me, because it's ongoing still, was the announcement of Pathfinder Quest. This is a board game that Joe Pacini and I are designing. We are still in the middle of designing, and in fact, that is a big part of my day job right now. So, and coordinating and figuring out how to make a giant board game with 1 million pieces. That is a thing we are ongoing and doing. That is the thing that is occupying a lot of my daytime job right now. But the other thing, just to give the briefest of rundown, Pathfinder Quest is an adventure board game for 1 to 4 players, where you go on a bunch of exciting adventures and it tells a story, and it doesn't have a GM, and, that's what it is. There'll be plenty more details, lots more spoilers, plenty of things to talk about here in the coming months on that, but not here. We'll be doing that on the Paizo official channels. Yeah, exciting. There's a page on BackerKit where you can back the project and get news about it as we reveal it. So, fun, exciting. So that was the first announcement. The second announcement actually came during the Adventure Path panel, in which they talked about the current Adventure Paths happening for Pathfinder and some future APs, Adventure Paths, happening from Paizo, including the announcement of an upcoming Adventure Path called Spore War. Spore War is a 3-part Adventure Path. I wrote the first part. So if you're curious what my giant freelance project was that derailed everything earlier this year, that's it. That was the thing that derailed everything and just kept going and going and going. Adventure Paths are really big projects. They are, writing one of those adventures. I mean, it's a, almost 100-page book. The adventure is like 2/3 of it. It is called, my first part is called Whisper in the Dirt, and it may have a little something to do with Rasmir. We'll see. So yeah, there's a reason why I was tapped for it. So I'm not going to say any more than that. My job is not here to spoil or talk about it, but that was the giant freelance project that occupied a titanic swath of my time earlier this year. Yeah. No, it's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. Yeah, so that's the big thing that got announced for me personally. I actually have some other things I'm working on as well that still aren't announced, and some of which won't be for a long time. But those were some of the big things. So finally, some things have become clear, and that frankly, the adventure path was a cruise missile aimed at my free time. I could write nothing else but that thing. My grand total word count at the end of that was over 50,000 words. To be clear, that's the size of a novel. I had to write a novel. So it was not small. And it's, for higher level characters, so it's all high level stat blocks. And, frankly, those take quite a bit more effort to get right. So it was a lot. We talk about the player's guide that I'm writing for, for Eventide, right? And let me open up the player's guide right now. Player's guide remaster document. This entire document. Come on, give me the word count. Is 42,000 words. So, yeah. And I had to do it in like 3 months. So, it was a lot. It ate up my free time, unlike anything else. I spent long days working on that manuscript. I mean, well, and my final turnover was supposed to be 40, so I overwrote the thing too, so it didn't help. But there were obvious cuts, and I think it actually expanded a bit, so it'll be fine. But yeah, that was the big thing that kind of ate up a bunch of my time earlier this year and prevented me from making some other progress. Yeah, no, it was a lot. It's one of those things where projects of that size aren't things that you can tackle kind of. There's no good way to do it. It's just so big, you just have to kind of start and constantly work at it. And there always hits a point in projects for me that are that large, that about like 3/4 the way through, I just hate it and I want it to end. But that's also when motivation is kind of at its lowest. But you're close to the finish line and you just start writing stuff and then you like aren't happy with some of it and rewrite it, and that only makes it worse. There could be this kind of nasty, vicious cycle in the last like third. That, for me is kind of the hardest part to push through. Some of the early stuff, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, we'll write the introduction. We'll bang that out one night. Yeah, sure. Here we go, introduction done. Next night, oh, okay, we'll start with it, And, but there comes a point where you hate the thing. You're so tired of it eating up all of your free time and all of your energy that you just want it to end, So, there is that. So that is done. Hooray. But yeah, I am moving on now to, I do have another small freelance project, but by comparison, it's like probably going to be 15 to 20,000 words total. So that's child's play by comparison. That's one of those things that by the time you start being tired of it, it's done. and that's the difference. Sometimes it really is just a factor of length. Like when I wrote Sundered Waves, the one shot, right? That's a 8,000 or 9,000 word adventure. It's not huge. And by the time I was like, is this thing over? I looked down and like, oh yes, it is. I'm done. Right. That was it. Right. You don't hit that same level of fatigue and burnout until you hit the manuscripts that are 30 or 40,000 words. That's when that's when you start to feel it. When you've been working on it for 2 months and it's still not done, and you're like, I just want this to be over. It's been forever. So anyway, enough about that. That was kind of some of the exciting news for me out of Paizocon. Obviously, there's a ton of other news, most of which isn't germane to anything that is going on here, but you should check it out. If you missed a bunch of those videos, I know that they'll be going up on YouTube in the coming days and weeks, so make sure to check those out. Plenty of good stuff in there. I do think that there are some other things that were talked about that are germane to Eventide, and that mostly involves the end of the kind of major remaster books with the release of Player Core 2. Player Core 2 is set to come out here in just a few months. With that book coming out, the kind of core of the remaster is then fully out, which kind of gives me all the tools I need to make sure that I can keep... Like, the Eventide Player's Guide can't come out until Player Core 2 comes out, because it has, it will be reliant on some class content that can't exist until Player Core 2 comes out. So, some of that stuff I'm just waiting on. Other parts I'm still just tinkering with. And, we'll need more time. But the release of Player Core 2 is really key. I think that is one of the critical steps towards the end of all of this. You'll have to excuse me. I was running late and had to eat a bunch of brisket before starting this, so I'm still like, whew, that was a lot. I ate that too fast. All right. So what are we doing here today? So today, a couple things I want to do. I want to chat with folks. Yeah, actually, there's probably a better venue for that. I'll save that for later. I think I'm starting to get around to the point where I want to start thinking about the long-range future of this Patreon. Obviously, the folks who are here have been the backbone of this thing and made it go forward up to this point. Again, I'm still looking at ways that I might retool it. I think I want to keep some of the same banding, but I want to make just kind of a base pledge level that kind of gets you everything. But at a base level, and then the things above and beyond that get you like credit and stuff and things like that. Still working on it. I'm still noodling around with it. I want to create a Patreon that's more open and kind of inviting and more multifaceted. That way we get more people in it. And it encourages me to do different kinds of content. Because, when I bounce around from one thing to another, that doesn't give me anything to share here unless it's Eventide related, and that's not great. So, yeah, still coming together. For those of you who are at the highest pledge level and have been racking up word count, I will still honor that. And I've got a couple interesting ways that I think I'll allow folks to redeem some word count, for other things as well. Yeah, part of this is just to keep me moving, right? As a creative, I oftentimes bounce between projects just to keep myself excited and interested and one of the secrets is you learn not to fight your creativity by forcing it onto something. Instead, you let it go where it wants to go, and if you don't fight it, you get cool things. Frankly, that's how I got Hopefinder. Hopefinder only exists because I didn't fight my creativity. I was like, oh, I could totally do this. I could make this happen, and I just did it. So there's stuff like that. But today, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to continue my run through. Let's see, we're in doing the remaster pass on Wolfren's Ring. If I recall correctly, did I get through all of the... Boy, I don't remember where I ended last time. Currently scrolling through it. Ah, yes. Okay. Most of this stuff is unchanged. So yeah, let me go ahead and bring this up, because I'll show you what I'm working on here. Today is going to be mostly a work stream, so folks, feel Feel free to chime in with questions or chat. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to be... Whoa. Hey, why are you so big? Why are you so large? You're way too large. Good with that. And then let me move me kind of over here. So, yeah, this is me just kind of scrolling through Adventure 2 here because I wanted to make sure that this was all done. And we had definitely gone through all of this. I think we had gotten into locations when last time we left. I don't think I left myself a marker, unfortunately. We definitely made it through Greenleaf. House of Order. Yeah, because I think we're getting to the point. What I should do is look for an alignment and see if there's anybody who still has an alignment mentioned with their name. I don't think there is, because I think we got down to Rotha's house. She doesn't have anything like that. There's the right. I need to get the direwolf encounter still in there. Do need to stat out giant bumblebees. I mean, we could always build out giant bumblebees. It needs to be done. Let me go and see if I can't find a... Boy, do I have a... Boy, this adventure just goes on and on. Oh, this is down in the sketchy note part. The leftover note part. Let me grab just a generic stat block here. This is just a giant shadow viper from toward the end. I'm going to come back here. And I need to stat out bumblebees. So let me go... Trying to get a page to open. Hold on here. So I believe there was a Pathfinder AP that had worker bees, but they didn't quite fit my need because they're not giant bumblebees, which is what I really want. Boy, why are you going so slow? Archives of Nethys is really slow today. Oh, like really slow. Shockingly slow. Well, that's not helping me. Okay. So we can get rid of alignment. We know that can go. Animal can definitely stay. We gotta get rid of undead. Anyone else having trouble with Archives of Nethys? Something wrong with it today? I seriously cannot get it to load at all. Alright, I'll let that go. Worst case scenario, I can always pull up other stuff. But there's a whole bunch of stuff here I'm not going to need. Alright. Weak giant mining bee. Let me just grab the worker bee stat block. Come here. I think I based this off the worker bee stat block, but then I'm going to turn it into a giant bumblebee. So yeah, this is a legacy stat block. I don't get sent. I don't got much in the way of stats, acrobatics, and athletics. We'll get to their ability scores. Those are fine. That can stay. Obviously, it doesn't have negative healing. Smoke susceptibility. That's interesting. I like the effect there. None of this stuff. Put XXX here for now. I'm not too much worried about the stats. I just want to make sure I've got all the pieces in here. So, 10 feet, fly 20 feet, fly 40 feet, fly 30 feet, fly... Bumblebees, they're kind of clumsy. I don't know if you can smoke out a giant bumblebee. I'll have to check. Stinger. Not going to have any of this. We'll have a poison. We'll get to that. So we're definitely going to have 2 melee lines here, though. Come here. Wow. Really? Okay. Gonna be a pain? Split this. Nope. Okay. Okay. So... I'm also gonna pull up my design guide info, which you can find in Monster Core. Or, sorry, GM Core. And let's see here. So this is a level 0 creature. Damn here. There we are. Attributes should be 320. The bee. So the bee in here has really good dex. I don't feel that bumblebees have a great dex though. So I'm only gonna give it a +2. But I feel like they have better con than maybe an ordinary bee. Give them a +3. Definitely -5 on interbugs. +1 on wisdom, sure. -1 on cha. I almost want to give them a +0. They're kind of cute. We'll go with that. Yeah, I like those stats. Let's take a look at their things. Acrobatics. So here's the little game I like to play. All right, so if the acrobatics, its minimum acrobatics would be 4, right? And that would be it's just trained. But this is a monster, so it can be an expert at first level, so we can go ahead and give it a 6 in acrobatics. And we can go ahead and go 4 in athletics. Sure. They do prefer to nest underground. I learned that too recently. That's always fun. Let's see. Perception here. Minimum would be 3. We'll go ahead and give it a 5. That's fine. And it can keep dark vision. AC. Again. Minimum AC on a critter like this. I look at the guides. Where my perception should be. It's got a below moderate. That's fine. It's a B. Yeah, skills are all fine. Armor class. The higher end AC for a creature like this would be 19. So it definitely doesn't need to be 19. What's the B in here? It's got a 16. So doing the math, assuming it's fuzzy butt gives it a +1 or something like that. Its minimum AC would be a 15. I actually think 15 is probably fine. It's moderate, but that's okay. It can have a 15 AC. It's going to have poison, so I don't mind if it's a little light on some of its defenses. Because that poison's going to give it a bit of a better offensive profile. Fort, reflex, and will. Let's see. We're probably looking somewhere between 7, 8, and 3. Boy. I mean, I think they probably do have a pretty decent reflex save. So, let's see. 2, 4, 6, maybe. Could go as high as 8. Boy, that seems high. Where's my range? Yeah, 8 is really high. I think we can go 6. I think that's fine. Fort. We can go Fort 5. And wisdom. Well, that's a bug. Probably have a low. We'll go 3 there. That's fine. Again. That works all fine. Hit points. So this is one of those things that I, again, like to play the game of, like, it's definitely got, you know, at least 8 plus cons, so 11 would be kind of the minimum. But 11's too low. That's probably, let's go 15. Got 15 hit points. This is slightly lower profile than the giant worker bee, which appeared in Pathfinder 169. But again, I think this is a critter that's got poison, and the one in here does not have poison. It's just a stingy bitey bee. Stingy bitey bee. My new name. Quilled Opportunity. Nope, that's from a snake. Which means I need to change. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and change this from stat hanging to stat hanging divider. Notice that changes it to purple. The only reason I have a stat hanging divider is that when I take it over to InDesign, that style is a style that has a dividing line underneath it. Which means it comes, when I pull a stat block into InDesign, it's automatically formatted the right way. That's why we do it. So I got that. Let me copy the text over here. Heavy smoke. Is that a hazard? Is that defined as a hazard? It's a pretty early AP, so, and it's definitely pre-remaster, so. I didn't realize Razmir was called out. He's in the index. What's he in the index for? Page 147. Probably just talking about Razmir. Yeah, in the Broken Lands. Okay. So smoke is not in the index. Let me look for environmental conditions. Uh, 90s into 100s. Take a look there and see if there's anything talking about smoke. Environment. Desert, canopy. You know me, I get distracted by Razmir. It's a thing that happens. Swamp, bogs, plains. Yeah, this is all normal stuff. Fog, wind, natural disasters. Now we're talking smoke. Okay, so it doesn't look like we define smoke or heavy smoke. I don't want to use it to define... I mean, smoke is just fine. Any smoke. That's fine. Heavy smoke is not a thing. So we're going to remove heavy. Load one for 1 round is kind of unnecessary, because you could just say... You slowed 1 on any turn that it starts... Any turn it starts in smoke. And then that takes care of itself. But adding a duration to it means that the duration sticks once it leaves, so that's perfectly fine. Speeds are fine. Stinger here is... So... This had both at the same bonus. I do wonder if their stinger should maybe be slightly less accurate. Let's see, 4, 6. What's the attack range for a level 0? Let's take a peek. Strikes. Bonuses. Moderate is 6. High is 8. Could be the sort of thing where the stinger is less accurate. Right? Like, you could do a 6 and an 8, right? And... first of all, this is all wrong. Yeah. Come here. Also piercing. Plus Bumble Bee Venom? Poison? I mean, I guess it's venom, right? What's the difference between... I always forget this. Yeah. So a dart frog is poisonous, but a snake is venomous. Venom is the right way to go here. Yeah, this is what I thought. I like one of those things where it's like I know what it is, but it also, like, every time I encounter it, I'm like, which one is it? Don't remember. I should look it up. Every time. Every time. Poison can also be through touch, right? It's like, oh, that frog is poisonous, don't touch it. Because the poison can go through your skin, right? That's poisonous still. Yeah. Alright. So, venom is the right way. So, I guess it's technically giant bumblebee venom. Although it will be classified as a poison, because that's what it is. So let me look at my damage profiles here. Boy, I think this should probably be a D4 plus 2. And this one should be a D6 plus 2. Let's see if I'm on target with my damage profiles here. High is 5, moderate's 4, low is 3. So this is 4, and this one's 5. So that's fine. Yeah, that works. These don't technically need to be finesse, but I'll leave them as finesse. Okay. So DC on this is going to be con-based, so minimum would be 15. We'll say it has a bit of a bonus. We'll call it a 16. Duration, let's make it 4 rounds. What is the effect of bumblebee venom? Swelling, itchiness, redness. Kind of it. So I like the idea that if the bumblebee stings you, it's not really about doing a whole bunch of damage, but you end up with giant red welts. Slowed might work. Yeah. Clumsy might work. Clumsy might be the way to go, right? So, you know, it could be a poison who's, you know. So, what if maximum duration here is 4 rounds? Yeah, you can lose an action because of scratching. That's true. Huh. Okay. What if... Alright, so let's do this. Stage 1 is just 1d4 poison. That's it. 1 round. It starts swelling. That's the initial damage. Stage 2... maybe it continues swelling. Also 1 round. Stage 3, Load 1 for 1 hour. Slowed condition can be ended for 1D. Load condition can be suppressed or for 1 minute by spending 1 action to scratch. I don't know. It's too complicated. I like it. Stage 3. Yeah, I mean, it could be stage 3 allergic reaction. I have to admit, the cop-out way here, the simple way is just to make it do damage and be done with it. I do like that if you don't, if it gets bad, so the stinger can't get stuck in you on a bumblebee, because bumblebee stingers don't break off. So yeah, if you're slowed, you're scratching. So that's just what you're doing. Yeah, bumblebees don't lose their stinger. They're one of the ones that don't. I looked this up last time, I think. Now, they're just bigger. They don't sting as much, though. That's the thing. Unlike honeybees, they're much less frequent. They're much less common stingers. So, boy, I almost think that it should be a clumsy thing, that you end up with a big, you know, I could call it, you know, so, allergic reaction. Clumsy 1 for 1 hour. Condition can be suppressed for 1 minute by spending 1 action to scratch the wound. Yeah, maybe a medicine check. But a medicine, well, I mean, that could just be it. Clumsy, you could just say, you know, so to change it, clumsy 1 hour. This condition can be removed through what is it? Treat poison? Is that the exact term? I want to use the right action here. Get the skills. Come on. Medicine. Treat disease. Treat poison. That's close. I don't know that the build there is 100% correct, but that's close. Anyway, there you go. That's it. Right? Go ahead and get rid of that. Done. We made a B. What did you do? You made a B. It's a very simple stat block, but we made it. That's it. We got a B. I'm not 100% sold on the stage 3 here. I think we're close. I'm gonna probably finesse it. That language isn't quite what isn't quite what I want it to be. But yeah, there we go. Some days you just make a B. That's all there is. Okay. Well, honestly, Andrew, it's not hard. I mean, I think in this case, it really does just come down to imagining the creature, right? Trying to decide what it does, and then trying to imagine what game mechanic you could associate with what you wanted to do, right? So I did some research on bumblebees. That's why I learned that they don't lose their stinger and they have a venom. It's not very bad for humans. It generally just creates an allergic reaction. So doing something that does a little bit of poison damage, because it's a big damn bee, and it's a lot of poison, makes sense. And then having it, just turn into, like, you don't want to get it up to the stage 3. As long as it lingers in stage 1 and 2, you might take a little poison damage. It might just go away. That'll be fine. But if it gets to stage 3, now you've got a giant allergic reaction, and you're clumsy 1 for an hour. And that's just it, right? You're stuck with it. So, yeah. Pretty straightforward. Pretty simple. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and save this. Ongoing effort. Another bit of progress. We'll take it. All right, folks. I'm a little under the gun here tonight. I gotta go and make sure. Yeah, you swell up and look all puffy. Yeah, that's it. That's what a bumblebee does. There's 4 of those. I like the idea that the players can come away from that fight with a bunch of giant welts. Right? That's kind of fun. Yeah, I need to. That's what I'm saying. The treat poison thing doesn't technically work the way I want it to. I need to say that you can, I may just remove treat poison from it entirely because treat poison doesn't actually work that way. It just gives you a bonus on your next save. So I may just change it to a medicine check, just a flat medicine check. It does mean that anything that you have that might give you a bonus on treat poison won't apply, but those things are rare enough that I don't really care. Anyway, that's what I got here for tonight, folks. I got another stream coming up here in just 12 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to be playing some Baldur's Gate 3 tonight. That's what we do on Tuesdays. So join me for that. Folks, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for your continued support. I know it's been a roller coaster. You can at least kind of see why now. Some of it has been. But we're going to get back on it and keep things moving. I'm happy with the progress we've made here over the past couple weeks. Last month or two. And I'm looking forward to see where it goes from here. So thank you for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.